Something huge is happening in the United States right now. ICE has just launched its strongest immigration measures in 2025, introducing a completely new self-deportation system. Millions of undocumented immigrants are now facing a life-changing decision: download a government app, get cash incentives and travel assistance, or risk strict enforcement. But is this really voluntary or a push forcing people out? In the next few minutes, we'll break down exactly how these new policies work, what they mean for immigrants, and why this could change everything for families living in the U.S. without legal status. Something huge is happening in the United States right now. ICE has launched its strongest immigration measures yet in 2025, introducing a completely new self-deportation system. Millions of undocumented immigrants are now facing a life-changing decision: download a government app, get cash incentives and travel assistance, or risk strict enforcement. But is this really voluntary or a push forcing people out? In the next few minutes, we'll break down exactly how these new policies work, what they mean for immigrants, and why this could change everything for families living in the U.S. without legal status. In 2025, the United States entered one of the most intense phases of immigration enforcement in recent history. The agency leading these developments was U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, widely known as ICE. With new authority, updated policies, and an aggressive federal mandate, ICE introduced a series of strong measures aimed at encouraging undocumented immigrants to voluntarily leave the country. This approach, often described as self-deportation, quickly became one of the most discussed and controversial elements of U.S. immigration policy in 2025. The basic idea behind these measures was to provide undocumented immigrants with a structured, officially sanctioned way to depart from the United States on their own terms. Rather than relying entirely on traditional enforcement actions such as raids, detentions, and formal deportations, the government created a system that allowed individuals to report their intention to leave voluntarily. This strategy was supported by the rollout of a digital platform, a mobile application called CBP Home, designed specifically to make voluntary departure quicker, safer, and more organized. This new application replaced earlier tools and became a central part of the government's approach to managing migration inside the country. Through the app, undocumented immigrants could submit a notification stating their intent to leave the United States. Once submitted, the system would guide them through the departure steps, offering estimates of border wait times, instructions for travel, and information about what to expect at ports of entry. Federal officials described this app as a more humane approach that would reduce the stress, uncertainty, and potential confrontation associated with traditional immigration enforcement. They also emphasized that it would allow individuals to prepare themselves, gather personal belongings, and make plans before exiting the country. One of the most notable features of the new policy was the introduction of financial and logistical incentives designed to encourage self-deportation. The Department of Homeland Security announced that individuals who chose to leave via the app would be eligible for a one-time stipend of $1,000 once their departure was confirmed. They also became eligible for government-assisted travel support, including free or heavily subsidized airline tickets to their home country. These incentives were promoted as cost-saving measures for the U.S. government, as traditional deportation processes could involve extensive resources, including detention costs, legal proceedings, and chartered flights. Officials argued that the self-deportation approach would not only reduce government spending, but would also help undocumented migrants avoid arrest, long detention periods, and the emotional stress of forced removal. They suggested that this method could even protect migrants' chances of legally returning to the United States in the future, something that is often complicated or impossible after formal deportation orders. However, the self-deportation program did not function alone. It was introduced alongside several enforcement strategies designed to increase pressure on undocumented individuals. In many ways, the government used a combined approach of incentives and potential penalties. ICE gained expanded authority to issue fines against migrants who remained in the country without status. These fines, which could grow quickly, were paired with advanced debt collection tools, including federal tax refund seizures and civil penalties. Individuals who did not choose the voluntary route could face more frequent enforcement encounters and an increased likelihood of being placed into removal proceedings. Across 2025, ICE also expanded interior enforcement operations across major cities and regions with large undocumented populations. This development increased concerns within immigrant communities, where many feared that staying in the country without legal status could lead to rapid detention or forced removal. As a result, some individuals saw the voluntary departure option, especially with incentives included, as a safer alternative. The broader legal and political context surrounding these measures added to their significance. The government had already passed various executive actions and policy adjustments that tightened asylum rules, expanded expedited removal procedures, and strengthened penalties for overstaying visas or entering illegally. All of these changes contributed to a more forceful immigration environment. Supporters of these policies viewed them as essential for restoring order, reducing illegal immigration, and protecting national sovereignty. They argued that voluntary departure represented a humane yet firm approach that provided choices to undocumented individuals while still upholding the law. Critics, on the other hand, raised concerns about how truly voluntary the self-deportation program was. Many advocates argued that financial incentives and the threat of fines, detention, or other consequences created a form of pressure that could force individuals to leave without fully understanding their rights or legal options. They argued that vulnerable migrants might be pushed into making decisions that could affect their long-term ability to return legally or that could separate families who were trying to remain together in the United States. Community organizations across the country worked tirelessly to inform migrants about the implications of using the self-deportation option. Lawyers warned that even voluntary departure could lead to bans on re-entry, depending on an individual's immigration history. Many families struggled with making difficult decisions, balancing fear of enforcement with the hope of remaining in the U.S. long enough to explore every possible path to lawful status. Despite the ongoing debate, the self-deportation initiative made a measurable impact. Reports indicated that voluntary departures increased significantly during the year, contributing to a major rise in total immigration removals and exits. ICE also continued its interior enforcement operations, which further accelerated the number of migrants leaving the country either by force or by choice. The combination of incentives, enforcement, and technological tools created a new pattern of migration behavior throughout 2025. This shift in strategy represented one of the most dramatic and controversial changes to U.S. immigration policy in recent years. It blended technology, incentives, financial pressure, and enforcement in a way never seen before. Whether this new model will continue to shape future immigration policy remains an open question. Some believe it could become a long-term strategy for managing undocumented populations, while others argue that it could be replaced or reversed by future administrations with different ideological views. What remains clear is that the 2025 self-deportation measures left a significant mark on communities across the nation. Families were forced to reevaluate their futures, community organizations mobilized to provide support, and legal experts debated the ethical and constitutional implications of encouraging voluntary exits under pressure. The program also influenced political narratives, becoming a central topic in discussions about border control, national security, economic impact, and humanitarian responsibility. As the United States continues to grapple with the complexities of immigration policy, the events of 2025 will be remembered as a year when voluntary departure became a major feature of national strategy. The true long-term effects will unfold in the years ahead, affecting political decisions, legal reforms, and the lives of millions of people whose stories are intertwined with the American immigration system. The 2025 ICE self-deportation program is rewriting the rules of immigration enforcement. Families and communities across the country are already feeling its impact. Whether you see it as opportunity or pressure, the consequences are real and far-reaching. Stay updated with the latest news. Share this video to spread awareness, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.